You've probably spent $600 on a driver because a Tour Pro's name was stamped on the crown, maybe $1,400 on a set of irons because the magazine review called them the gold standard, possibly $50 a dozen on golf balls because that's just what the good ball costs. And the entire time, playing in your own group, someone with a single-digit handicap was gaming a bag that cost a fraction of yours and performed just as well. That's not a hot take. That's the open secret of the golf industry. There are 5 brands that low handicap players, club fitters, and serious ball strikers have been quietly buying for years. The golf press barely covers them. The big pro shops barely stock them. And the prices stay shockingly low because of it. If you've ever felt burned by overpriced golf gear, stay with me to the end, because the brand at number 1 isn't a scrappy startup, it's a company you've walked past 100 times and dismissed, and the best amateurs at your course have been cashing in on it for years. Before we get to the brands, there's something you need to understand about how golf pricing actually works in 2026. When you buy a driver from a major brand, you're not just paying for the head, the face, and the engineering. You're paying for a marketing department. You're paying for the tour staff payroll, every pro under contract with that logo on his bag. You're paying for the retail floor markup, the distributor's cut, the endorsement deals, the tour event branding. By the time that club reaches your bag, a huge slice of what you paid went to the machine, not the product. That's the prestige tax. It's why a flagship driver can cost $600 while a comparably engineered one costs $350. And it's the whole reason this channel exists, because that tax was designed to be paid by you, the weekend player, at the highest margin the market will bear. The brands on this list have one thing in common. That prestige tax I just mentioned, it is real, and it has cost you more than you think. That is exactly why I built the Honest Gear Vault. Every category, every smart buy, every overpriced trap in one guide. And right now it is half price, 50% off for a limited time only. The link is in the description of this video. They've mostly opted out of that machine. Several sell direct. They don't buy the glossy ad, they don't fund the tour bag, and because of that, they get ignored by an industry that has every reason to keep the prestige tax alive. Here's the betrayal at the center of it. The brands with the biggest marketing budgets are not the brands the best amateurs actually trust. They're just the brands you were trained to trust. The scratch golfer figured that out years ago and quietly went and bought something else. Today, I'm naming 5 of those brands, ranked worst to best of the 5, every one with a real model, a real current price, and the exact gap between what it costs and what the name version costs for the same performance your swing can actually access. Let's get into it. Number 5, Wilson. Start with the one that stings, because Wilson is the brand every amateur thinks they know and almost nobody takes seriously anymore. Here's what people forget. Wilson has won more major championships with its irons than any brand in the history of the game. That's not marketing, that's the record book. And yet, mention Wilson in a pro shop and you'll get the polite nod reserved for something a bit dated, a bit dad golf. That reputation gap is exactly the inefficiency a smart player exploits. The current player's iron is the Dyne PWR forged 8620 carbon steel, cavity back, an AI-optimized variable face, and a urethane-filled cavity for feel. That's genuinely modern construction, the same architecture the big names charge a premium for, and independent testers at Plugged In Golf rated the ball speed as elite. The reason Wilson lands at 5 and not higher is honesty, at a price that, depending on retailer, lands well north of $1,000 for the steel set. The forged line isn't the bargain. It's priced right alongside the names it's fighting. Where Wilson quietly wins is one rung down in the cast and last season stock, where you get most of that face for a few hundred less, and in resale where nobody's paying a Wilson prestige tax because there isn't one. So the Wilson play isn't buy the flagship, it's buy the brand nobody's bidding against. Same forging house, same steel, a fraction of the hype. The major winner everyone quietly writes off. Number 4, Cobra. Cobra's a funny one because it's not unknown, Ricky Fowler and Gary Woodland game it, but it is chronically ignored at the buying decision. When an amateur walks in ready to spend, the hand drifts to the 2 or 3 brands that dominate the tee time ads. Cobra sits right there, same shelf, and gets skipped. That's the mistake. Cobra's 2026 driver line is the OPTM family, the XLS, Max K, and Max D. Built around a new shaping idea, Cobra says tightens dispersion by up to 23%, wrapped around a 33-way adjustable hosel and a face design that reviewers have praised in early 2026 testing. The core model, the OPTMX, is priced in line with other premium 2026 drivers, reportedly around $500, though it's worth confirming the exact current price at retail. But here's the move most people miss. The moment Cobra launched OPTM, last year's Darkspeed line became one of the best values in golf. Darkspeed was a genuinely elite, aerospace-engineered driver 12 months ago. Today it's discounted hard, simply because a new box arrived. A low handicap player doesn't care that the box says last season, he cares that the face is fast and the price fell off a cliff. That's a swing of $250 to $300 versus a current flagship for a driver that was a flagship a season ago. Cobra lands at 4 because you have to shop it right, chase the value model, not the newest one. Do that, and you're buying Tour caliber engineering at a price the big brands will never offer you. The Tour brand hiding in the discount bin. Number 3, Maxfli. Now the ball, and this is where the markup is most naked. Maxfli is Dick's Sporting Goods house brand, and I know the second I say house brand, a chunk of you mentally filed it under range bucket. Undo that. The current Tour lineup, the Tour S, Tour, and Tour X, are cast urethane multi-layer Tour balls, all three at $39.99 a dozen, made by Foremost in Taiwan, a contract manufacturer whose whole specialty is exactly the cast urethane construction every premium Tour ball uses. That's not a cheap ball dressed up. That's the same category of ball, minus the Tour contract payroll baked into the price of the market leader. And this isn't me guessing. My Golf Spy's independent ball lab scored the Tour at 85 and the Tour S at 89 out of 100, both above their database average, with full USGA conformance in the tested sample. Do the arithmetic that actually matters, the one you feel in a water hazard. A dozen of the premium market leader ball runs you north of $50. A dozen Maxfli Tour, same urethane cover, independently verified quality, runs $40 and drops to around $30 a dozen when Dick's runs the 4-box deal. That's a $20 plus gap on something you lose 3 of every round. Over a season, that's real money staying in your pocket for a ball that spins on the green, just like the expensive one. It's number 3 and not higher only because it's Dick's only distribution, so you can't grab it just anywhere. But for the 83 to 95 mile an hour mid-handicapper, it's the clearest markup you'll ever dodge. A Tour grade cover at house brand money. Quick one before the top 2, if a single one of these has made you look sideways at what's in your bag right now, do me a favor and hit subscribe. That's the whole deal. You keep more of your money, I keep the pro shop honest, and an eagle lands on your scorecard this weekend. Back to it. Number 2, Takomo. If you've never heard of Takomo, that's the entire point, and the best ball strikers have. Takomo is a Finnish, direct-to-consumer brand, and it's become one of the worst-kept secrets among low-handicap players precisely because it never shows up in a pro shop. The 2026 iron lineup runs the 101 at $579, the 201 at $649, and the more compact 201T at $679, all for the 4-iron through pitching wedge set. Read that again. A hollow body split-weighted player's distance iron set in full for under $700. The category it's competing in, players' distance irons from the household names, routinely runs $1,300 to $1,400 a set. Takomo delivers, by every independent account, genuinely comparable performance at less than half that. Plugged in Golf called the 201 unbelievable value. Golf Monthly, Rick Shields, the reviewers who hit everything, all land in the same place. Elite feel, real forgiveness, a screaming price. And it's played by pros like Wesley Bryan, by choice, with no store to walk into. That's the catch, and it's why it's number 2, not 1. Direct-to-consumer means you can't demo it at your local shop, the finish is a touch less polished, and the return policy asks a little faith. But the scratch player already made peace with that trade. He did the online fitting, waited the 6 weeks, and put $700 forged feeling irons in a bag next to guys who spent double. The half-price players iron the internet's best amateurs already found. And number 1, Sub 70. The brand you've walked past the concept of 100 times, a direct-to-consumer club maker out of Illinois. that has quietly become the answer for the informed amateur who refuses to overpay. Here's why it tops the list and not Takomo. It does the same direct-to-consumer, half the markup trick, but across the whole bag, and with a fitting and trade-in operation that removes most of the risk that keeps people away from buying direct. The headline set is reportedly sub-70s current forged face hollow body player's distance iron, priced in the $700 to $800 range according to the brand's site, worth double-checking the exact model name and current price before airing. Line that up against the equivalent forged player's distance iron from a tour staff brand, comfortably $1,400 and up, and you're looking at a gap of $600 or more for a club independent reviewers put right in the conversation on feel and ball speed. Same forging concept. Same performance band your swing can actually use, roughly half the money. And because Sub70 sells direct and runs its own fitting cart and trade-in program, you get a lot of the service a pro shop would charge you a markup for without the markup. The reason Sub70 is the honest number one isn't that it's the cheapest thing on this list. It's that it most completely exposes the con. No tour payroll tax, no retail floor markup, no prestige surcharge, just the club, priced at what a club should cost. The best amateurs who've moved to it aren't slumming it. They did the math the marketing machine hoped you'd never do. The clearest proof that most of what you pay for premium isn't the club. So there's your 5. Wilson, the major winner everyone writes off. Cobra, the tour brand hiding in the discount bin. Maxfli, tour grade rubber at house brand money. Takomo, the half-price player's iron. And Sub70, the brand that most nakedly proves the whole markup game. The thread running through all of them is the same uncomfortable truth this channel keeps coming back to. The equipment in most amateur bags was chosen for the player you were told you should be, not the player you actually are, and you paid a prestige tax for the privilege. The brands the best players quietly game are the ones charging you for the club instead of the logo. One honest caveat: before you spend a dime, none of this replaces a real fitting. A cheap set fit to your swing beats an expensive set that isn't. That's the whole game, so wherever you land, get fit, even if it's Sub70's or Takomo's own online cart. Now I want to hear it. What's in your bag right now, and after this, which of these 5 are you actually reconsidering? Drop it below. Tell me I'm wrong about Wilson. Tell me you've been gaming Sub70 for years. Tell me your Maxfli water hazard math. I read every comment and I reply to everyone.